The wind howls across the frozen land, snow piles high against wooden walls, and inside a small house a family sits close together, waiting for warmth. In the medieval world, winter was not just cold, it was dangerous. Fire was life, without it, people could freeze, starve, or fall sick. But keeping a fire alive was not easy. Wood could get wet. Smoke could choke a room, and fuel could run out fast. Yet somehow families survived winters that lasted for months. They did not have modern heaters or dry storage rooms. What they had was knowledge, simple but powerful, a method that kept their firewood dry even in snow and rain. This was not luck, this was skill passed down through generations. And today we are going to uncover that lost method, the quiet trick that kept homes warm when the world outside turned to ice. At first, firewood sounds simple. You cut it, stack it, and burn it. But in medieval times, it was never that easy. Fresh wood was wet inside, and wet wood does not burn well. It smokes, it hisses, and it wastes heat. Even worse, if rain or snow touched stored wood, it could stay damp for days or weeks. Imagine trying to light a fire with wet sticks while your hands are numb from cold. That was a daily struggle. People needed dry wood, not just sometimes, but every single day. So they learned something important. Firewood is not just about cutting trees. It is about preparing, drying, and protecting it. And that is where the real method begins. The first secret came before the wood was even stacked. Medieval people did not cut trees at random times. They chose late autumn or deep winter. Why? Because trees hold less sap during this time, meaning the wood starts off drier. Less sap meant less moisture, and that meant faster drying. This small choice made a huge difference. It reduced smoke, improved burning, and saved time. After cutting, the logs were split, not left whole, not thrown in piles, but carefully split into smaller pieces. This exposed the inside of the wood, allowing air to reach it. Air was the real tool here. Not fire, not sun, but air. Without airflow, wood stays wet. With it, wood becomes fuel. Now comes the heart of the method, stacking. Medieval families did not just pile wood anywhere. They built stacks with care, almost like building walls. The logs were placed off the ground, often on stones or raised beams. This stopped ground moisture from creeping into the wood. Then they stacked the logs in a crisscross pattern, leaving small gaps between each piece. These gaps were important. They allowed wind to pass through the stack, slowly drying the wood from all sides. No trapped moisture, no hidden damp spots. Some stacks were built in circular shapes, others in long rows against walls, but all followed the same rule: let the air move. Here is where the method becomes clever. Covering wood sounds simple, but too much cover traps moisture. Too little cover lets rain soak in. Medieval people found a balance. They built simple roofs over their stacks, often using wood planks, thatch, or even bark. The top was protected, but the sides were left open. This meant rain and snow stayed out while air could still flow through. It was a natural system. No tools, no machines, just smart design. Some homes even had special lean-to structures built against the house. These kept wood close, dry, and ready to use. Drying wood takes time, but medieval people used nature to speed it up. They placed wood stacks where the sun could reach them during the day and where wind passed through often. South-facing walls were popular as they caught more sunlight. Open areas were also used, as long as they were not too exposed to storms. The idea was simple: let the sun warm the wood and let the wind carry moisture away. Together they turned fresh logs into perfect firewood. This was not rushed. Wood was often left to season. For months, sometimes a full year, patience was part of survival. Even after all this care, one final step remained. Before burning, wood was often brought inside for a short time. Not too long, just enough to warm it slightly and remove any surface dampness. Homes had small spaces near the hearth where wood could rest. This made sure that when it was time to burn, the wood would catch quickly and burn clean. It also reduced smoke inside the house, which was important because medieval homes had poor ventilation. Every small detail mattered. Every step made the fire stronger, cleaner, and more reliable. So why did this method work so well? Because it followed simple rules: keep wood dry, let air move, protect it from rain, and give it time. There was no waste. Every log had value. A well-prepared stack could last through the entire winter, keeping families warm, cooking food, and even protecting livestock. This method was not written in books. It was learned by watching, by doing, and by surviving. It turned a basic resource into a life-saving system. Today, many people do not think about firewood in this way. We rely on modern heating, and the old methods fade into history. But this knowledge still matters. It shows how people lived with nature, not against it. It shows how simple ideas can solve big problems. In a world without electricity or machines, this method kept entire communities alive, and maybe, just maybe, it still has something to teach us today. So the next time you see a stack of firewood, remember it is not just wood, it is history, skill, and survival all in one. The lost method of firewood was not really lost, it is just forgotten, and now you know the secret that warmed medieval homes through the harshest winters. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to True Historia for more hidden truths from the past. Tell us in the comments what you think about this method and what you want to see next. Because history is not just something we read, it is something we rediscover one story at a time.